He was a rising star in the boxing ring, fast, fearless, and feared. Rubin "Hurricane" Carter was a top middleweight contender in the 1960s, known for knocking opponents out cold. But his greatest fight wasn't in the ring, it was for his freedom. In 1966, Carter was wrongly convicted of a triple homicide in New Jersey. No weapon, no motive, just a flawed lineup and racism. He was sentenced to life in prison, stripped of everything. But he refused to be broken. From behind bars, he wrote his autobiography The 16th Round and became a symbol of injustice. His story spread across the world, inspiring Bob Dylan's powerful song Hurricane, and decades later, a film starring Denzel Washington. After nearly 20 years behind bars, his conviction was finally overturned. The judge declared it based on racism rather than reason. Rubin Carter never got his prime back, but he got his name back, a fighter in every sense who battled the system and won. This woman was sentenced to life without parole for a nonviolent drug offense. Alice Johnson grew up in a neighborhood riddled with poverty, violence, and limited opportunities. Schools were underfunded, jobs were scarce, and gangs and drugs were a constant presence. Surrounded by hardship, she turned to drugs as a way to cope with trauma, pain, and the pressures of survival. Unlike many others, Alice refused to let the system define her. Behind bars, she transformed her life, earning degrees, mentoring fellow prisoners, and becoming a voice for justice. Her daily routine was a battle against despair, but she used it to cultivate strength, knowledge, and hope. Her case became a symbol of the cruelty of mandatory minimums, laws that treated minor offenses as deserving the same punishment as violent crimes. Advocates, lawyers, and activists fought tirelessly on her behalf, refusing to let her story go unheard. After decades, their efforts paid off. Alice was granted clemency, stepping out of prison not broken, but as living proof that resilience, reform, and second chances are possible. Her life now inspires others to challenge injustice and believe in redemption. Do you think non-violent drug offenses should ever carry a life sentence? This man lost everything for a crime he didn't commit. At just 26 years old, Richard Phillips was arrested for a 1971 murder in Detroit. There was no physical evidence, just a false testimony, and it cost him 45 years of his life. He spent decade after decade behind bars, maintaining his innocence. He missed the birth of his grandchildren, lost his marriage, watched the world change from behind concrete walls. But he never gave up. In 2014, a witness finally came forward, admitting he had lied, and in 2018 Phillips was exonerated. By then, he was 72. The longest-serving wrongfully convicted inmate in U.S. history. He walked out of prison with nothing but hope. He started painting, selling his art to survive, not bitter, not broken, just free, and determined to live the life that was stolen from him. This man spent over 45 years waiting to die, for a crime he may have never committed. His name was Iwao Hakamada, a former professional boxer from Japan. In 1966, he was accused of murdering a family of 4 and burning their house down. The key evidence? A confession, extracted after 20 days of relentless police interrogation. He later recanted it, claiming he was beaten and coerced. Still, he was sentenced to death in 1968. For decades, Hakamada lived in solitary confinement, never knowing which day would be his last. His mental health suffered, but he never stopped declaring his innocence. Then in 2014, DNA tests showed that the evidence used to convict him didn't match. He was released, but not cleared. His freedom was granted conditionally, pending a retrial. Finally, in 2023, Japan's courts ordered a full retrial, acknowledging the serious flaws in his original case. In 2025, he was also granted $83 for each day of imprisonment for the years stolen from him. He is 89 years old and the longest-serving death row inmate ever exonerated, a living symbol of justice delayed but not denied. This man spent 27 years behind bars, not for a crime, but for demanding equality. Born in a rural village, he was raised in the traditions of the Xhosa people, listening to elders' stories of justice and resistance, seeds that would one day grow into a lifelong fight for freedom. His name, Nelson Mandela, a revolutionary who dared to stand against apartheid, South Africa's brutal system of racial segregation. He helped lead a secret movement, risking everything to fight injustice. For that, he was arrested and sentenced to life in prison. Locked away in a tiny cell on Robben Island, he broke rocks by day and read by candlelight at night. While the world moved on, he was forgotten by many. When he was finally released in 1990, he shocked the world, not with rage, but with forgiveness. He met with his former jailers, he smiled, he listened, and then he led. In 1994, Mandela became South Africa's first black president. Instead of vengeance, he offered reconciliation. Instead of war, peace. His strength wasn't just in resisting oppression, it was in choosing unity after unimaginable pain. That's how 27 years in a prison cell helped create one of the greatest peace icons the world has ever known. This man survived one of the most horrific genocides in modern history. His name was Dith Pran, a Cambodian photojournalist whose life became the inspiration for the award-winning film The Killing Fields. When the Khmer Rouge seized power in 1975, Dith was separated from his American colleague and friend Sidney Schonberg and forced into a brutal labor camp. He hid his education, pretended to be a simple peasant, and endured starvation, torture, and the constant threat of execution. Surrounded by mass graves, he witnessed the deaths of millions, including his own family. After 4 years of unimaginable suffering, Dith escaped through minefields and jungle, finally reaching a refugee camp in Thailand. He reunited with Schonberg and later moved to the US, where he continued his work exposing the truth behind the Cambodian genocide. He coined the haunting phrase, "the killing fields," to describe the atrocities he had witnessed. Dith Pran didn't just survive, he made sure the world never forgot. This man volunteered for one of the most dangerous missions imaginable. Witold Pilecki, a Polish resistance fighter, infiltrated Auschwitz in 1940, not as a prisoner, but as a spy. His mission was to gather intelligence on Nazi atrocities and share them with the world. Pilecki's courage knew no bounds. Once inside the camp, he endured unimaginable horrors while secretly documenting the conditions and organizing resistance. Despite his efforts to raise awareness of the mass murders, the world remained largely silent. But Pilecki never gave up. He finally escaped the camp after nearly 3 years, carrying with him crucial evidence of Nazi crimes. Pilecki's bravery and dedication to fighting evil came at an incredible personal cost. His actions remain a powerful testament to the strength of the human spirit and the fight for freedom, even in the darkest times. This man risked everything to expose one of history's darkest truths. Jan Karski was a young Polish resistance fighter during World War II. Determined to reveal the horrors of Nazi crimes, he disguised himself and secretly entered the Warsaw Ghetto. What he saw was unbearable: starving children, desperate families, and brutality at every turn. But Karski didn't stop there. He infiltrated a Nazi transit camp, witnessing with his own eyes the machinery of extermination. Carrying this unbearable knowledge, he smuggled out reports and embarked on a dangerous journey across Europe to reach the West. Karski met with leaders like Winston Churchill and President Franklin D. Roosevelt, pleading for action. He told them the truth: millions of Jews were being murdered. Though the world struggled to comprehend the scale, his testimony remains one of the earliest, most powerful warnings of the Holocaust. Jan Karski is remembered today as the courier who tried to wake the conscience of the world. Which story did you connect with the most? Let us know in the comments.